when I conduct a writer's workshop, the last thing I say is, when you write, don't think. Write. Because if you think, you're in control, you're in charge, you'll get in the way. Now, I'm not putting down thinking. I had a very good education. I'm very grateful for it. But there comes a point when you have gone as far as thinking will take you, and then you move into the world that might be called fantasy, which is that world beyond where your mind will take you. And then you stop. You stop short, and you listen. And you may hear some extraordinary things. But they will be exciting. They may push you in places you don't want to go. And they may lead you temporarily to anxiety and even despair. When I wrote A Wrinkle in Time, we were living in Northwest Connecticut, and I was asking all the big cosmic questions that we tend to ask as adolescents, but I was married and had 3 children. I was still asking them and finding no answers, and reading theologians and finding no answers. They're not all as bad as the German theologians, but they still are dealing with things in terms of fact which should only be dealt with in terms of fantasy. And I picked up a book which quoted Einstein as saying, anyone who's not lost in rapturous awe at the power and glory of the mind behind the universe is as good as a burnt-out candle. And I thought, I have found my theologian. And then I began to read particle physics and quantum mechanics, which I still read for theology, because they're dealing with the nature of being. When we discovered the world of particle physics, everything changes. Everything changes with every major scientific discovery. I've never seen any conflict between science and religion, because all science can do is enlarge our vision of God. I mean, it really threw the church into a terrible tizzy when they had to accept that we are not a planet that is the center of the universe, with everything revolving around us. We are, in fact, only a minor planet in an ordinary solar system on the outskirts of an ordinary spiral galaxy. I mean, that's a big displacement. And yet we somehow managed to accept that. Well, what we're asked to do now is just as enormous, because the world of the very, very small is quite different from the world of the incredibly large, and far more intimate. In the world of the very, very small, nothing happens in isolation. Everything affects everything else. You can never say it's my own business. It's the business of the entire cosmos.